I'm not happy. I'm not happy with the light on some of my tanks. We have the new Mbuna tank that we built recently in one of the videos. We have Brian's tank over here. It's just not quite there. Now, other tanks, like Mega Tank 2 for instance, this is my 12-foot discus tank. Really happy with that. That has the Fluval Plant 4.0 Pro something. There's a video. That's fine. But the tanks on this side, the Mbuna is fine. The Brianville is fine. And Mega Tank 1 is fine. But it's not good. Now, with this tank, obviously, tannins is one of the issues. When one of the fish swims directly underneath a light, like this guy here just has, the colours are fine. These are using the Hygger over tank type strip lights, these ones here, and they work fine. Customizable, work okay, happy with it. So the lighting of this one, even though I'm not happy with it, it's more because of the amount of tannins. So this is going to be like a year-long process of getting rid of some of the tannins. But as you can see, when they swim under the lights, the colours pop, and I'm happy enough with that. Brian's tank, if you can see, so this is really the centre of the tank. It's different colours. So the side of the tank is lit by those floodlights you can see there. The centre of the tank is lit by a Fluval Marine, or Fluval Sea light, and then the other side of the tank is lit by one of the floodlights. So I'm trying to convince myself whether or not I actually like this, because the colour of the rocks under the floodlights is more of a warmer sunlight type colour, and when Brian's under them we get a decent shimmer, which I hope you can see on the camera, but I don't know if I like the difference in the lights, so I want to give this a little bit longer to decide whether or not I like it. But it's bright enough and Brian's happy enough. This is the Mbuna tank. This is the newest tank. This is the one that I'm most at odds with. It's currently lit by a Fluval Aquasky, one of the older ones, and it's fine. It's adequate, satisfactory, acceptable, but it's not great. It's not making the colours pop. It will grow plants, but there's no shimmer to speak of. I mean, there's the tiniest little bit of shimmer. I want something, when I envisage an African cichlid tank or a Mbuna tank, I envisage something that's like dazzling, bright whites, really popping colours, so I wanted to try something new. So I was delighted when your friend of mine, Hygger, who products of all kinds of aquatic needs, offered to send me something. They reached out and said, "Are you after any stuff?" And I explained my problem, that I was a little disappointed with my lights, and suggested one of these. This is the Hygger Max Pro Plant light. This is like a pendulum style light, a hanging light, that looks like it'll do just the business. 100 watts of lighting power. I was most excited by this. It's an RGB light with a really good spectral analysis, or claims for one at least. I checked this with plant specialist Stevie P 2003, who confirmed that did indeed look interesting. So this looks like it'll be just the job. I will admit that the plants weren't the first thought on this. It was more about the general ambiance, the general look of the tank that I wanted to improve. But I do have some plants in here. I wouldn't necessarily call it a planted tank. But I want something that's going to make a big difference. So let's see if this will. As with most of my review style videos, I'm going to do like a pro-cons list type of thing. If we start with the pro, this is a weighty beast. This is a bit of bulk. That's what it looks like all assembled. This, I'll try and figure out what the weight is and put it in there, but it is hefty. The first thing that comes to mind is build quality. This is not a plastic light. This is proper metal, aluminium casing, really sturdy. There's no bend in that, even if I wanted to. Not quite as happy about this. So this is the way the bracket joins together, is you just have these screws which are silver. Everything else is black, so when you look at it, all you see is these silver bits, which is a bit like, what were you thinking, Hygger? But the rest of it really well constructed. Another of the con side of thing is I've had to build this 4 different times because the instructions are, what's the nice way to say shit? Vague. The instructions are a little bit vague, a little bit wanting. But once you get it figured out, it kind of makes sense. So maybe that was just user or operator error. But once constructed, it's definitely up to the task. Which brings me on to con number 2 or 3 or whatever we're on. You might want to think about the tank you're planning to attach this to. For example, this tank is braced, and the bracing is in such a way that there's nowhere for the bracket to attach to, so I can't use it on this tank. This is it in its configuration as the smallest it can possibly be, so I can't use it in this tank because it won't fit in. I can't use it in this tank. So if you have a fish room, if you're using lots of racking, you can only use it in top tanks because that's the only tanks that you can get it on. And these are quite thin glass. I just wouldn't trust it with the weight of this thing because all the weight is going to be concentrated on this bracket. And that's got to be quite a heft to hold up. Briansville too is braced. So there's not enough depth in the lip of this to hold it. The only way I can do that is right on the end because that's the only place that doesn't have bracing. So out of every tank in my fish room, this is the one place this light can be mounted. Now that it is mounted, it's essentially over the same area as what's currently covered by a 50 watt floodlight, which to my mind is pretty strong. I don't know of any other way to say that. It's given a half decent shimmer. The colour is warm, but it's pretty strong. So let's see what happens if we turn on this light. Oh my god, it's like the sun. That is ridiculous. This tank is over 2 feet deep and the shimmer is just all over the place. I don't know how well that's coming across on the camera, but if you can see it on the substrate down here, the shimmer is exactly the effect I wanted for the Mbuna tank. It is so bright. Now, if we do, you might be thinking, well, Graham, you've got 150 watts on that because you've got that floodlight there. Let's see if we just turn the floods off, if that diminishes that brightness any. There we go, they should go off shortly. That's kind of exactly the colour I want. That looks really good. So I think if I remove all this bracketry, I can just use the steel cable that it comes with to hang from a hook from the ceiling, because it does come with a nice long power cord and gives you a nice long steel cable to use for that. While I'm here, I've had this on for about an hour while I've been farting about with the tank, and it's not cool to the touch, but it's not roasting hot to the touch. In the live streams we talked about this, I incorrectly said it doesn't have a fan. It definitely does have a fan. It's just a very, very quiet fan. So cooling seems to be effective. It doesn't seem to be getting overheat, even touching the bulb. Bulb's actually cool to the touch now, only unplugging it after a minute or so. I don't know what you would call them, but the little connectors and pieces all seem fairly high quality. If you did want to use it in a tank, you do have some adjustability. You can move it around this way so it can fit shorter or longer tanks, and you can adjust the height down here obviously with this, and it does come with these clips all the way around to keep everything nice and neat. So some thought has gone into it, and it is, I hasten to use the word premium because it kind of gets overused, but it feels premium, and the amount of light that's coming out of it, it also feels premium. But I think I'm going to take this apart and use this just as this unit on its own. It doesn't take long to take apart when you have to do it 4 times earlier to get it to go together in the first place, but fairly straightforward. Just the power cord and the hanging cable now, and I think we're going to go for something like this, which will give the appropriate height. This is kind of built for deep tanks, so I don't think it'll have any problem with this whatsoever. So if I stop it around about there, a hook in the ceiling, we should be good to go. There we go, hanging quite nicely. I do like a hanging light. It makes it easier, less stuff to scrape off the top of when you need to do maintenance, but that's it in place. Obviously I've only got one over that side of the aquarium, but if I can just lock the camera there so you can see it in place, and then quickly sneak round the back of the tank and switch it on. That is a hell of a difference. Now again, we've got this one on, so let me just unplug that so you can see what it actually looks like. It's just a better colour. Now if I just take away this light altogether, which is the old Aqua Sky, so you can see it on its own. I mean, that's only one light on a 5-foot tank. These are, according to the instructions, designed for 60cm cubes, so 2 of them on this tank would be perfect. But look, if I just swing this over, for instance, to kind of the midway point, yes, it starts to get a little bit dimmer in the edges, but the light, the quality of the light is fantastic. I could not be more impressed with this. The shimmer is fantastic. The shadows that you're getting everywhere, the shadows in the fish, the colours of the fish even, they're just popping so much more. It goes to show you what difference light can make. So there's a difference between seeing and the wow factor that I'm getting off here. So before, the yellow labs and the Pseudotropheus kind of looked exactly the same, but now there's a very marked difference in the colours of them. I'm so impressed with that. The more and more Hygger stuff that I get, the more impressed I get with the quality of the things. Yes, there have been some lemons, but that's fantastic. For the price as well. So like, if that was a marine light, you'd be paying hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds. The price will vary wherever you are. I will put links in the description if you want to check this out for yourself, whether that's from Amazon or from Hygger themselves. There'll be a discount code for those of you in the US, so you can buy from the Hygger direct, and you get a little bit of money off. That is brilliant. So I, for one, am super impressed in that. That's just a quick video to show off that light and see if I could solve some of these problems. Definitely interested in getting another one. Obviously this was a sponsored video. This was provided by Hygger, but check out the links in the description if you want to check one out for yourself. I think this will solve a lot of my problems. It just really does look quality. Now, there are pros and cons. Who's this for? I think if you have a really well planted tank, and especially deep tank, this is probably the kind of thing that's going to be right up your alley. If you're a beginner maybe, or you're not having a lot of larger tanks, I would advise use with caution. So that's all I would say, because this is so powerful, it will just be an algae machine to some people in some cases. But if you know what you're doing, this is definitely worth looking into. As always, if you like this kind of thing, click that subscribe button. There'll be more tests and stuff in the future, as well as a different type of video coming in the future. So click that subscribe button. Maybe you'll see something that interests you. If you want to chat about this stuff, come and see me on a Friday night at 9 PM UK time. We do a live stream every Friday. And other than that, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!
When your tank is looking dull, there's no pop and there's no fun. Who do you turn to when you want the power of the sun?